So we first open the sheet. The sheet 1, I type in numbers, and the column A for X, the data for the X axis. The column B is for the Y axis. And then next, highlight both columns, hovering over the A, click, and left click, and drag until you see both A and B got highlighted. Okay, both A and B highlighted means data has been will be used for doing graph. Okay, what kind of graph we're going to use? You go to insert, and in the middle you'll see these are different types of graphs. You have the I'm not sure what it's just one kind of graph, and yeah, this is the bar chart, and you have a hierarchy chart and linking dots. Insert the line with all the data. It will link all the data in the graph. But what we use in chemistry, it is the scatter. So let's do scatter. And once you click on that, it automatically shows that. And you can see, you notice as you hover your mouse without clicking, it looks like. Okay. So the bubble doesn't apply to our graph. So just do this graph. For chemistry lab, when you have all the data, the scatter graph is the most common. And so that's a chart based on the X, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. Y are in the decimal parts, and it's a chart. And with the chart, you can add it. You can change the title. Just click on that, and within the box, you can just highlight this and type in whatever title. Let's say I made up the number, which is reaction rate. Reaction rate with time. And the reaction rate will be the y-axis, and x is time. Okay, so let's say I want to add a title for the y. Adding title. Okay, I have been doing that for a long time. I need to find out where to add title. Let me try the right click. Okay, right click. Get down. You highlight all the data, and you right click. Just give me. These are changing the axis titles. Yeah, chart title, axis title, and you can just add those. Yeah, these are the places. Okay, so this is the hard. You add the X, and this you change the Y. When you add a title, make sure you add a title, and with the parentheses, put in unit. Okay, make sure I have unit. So let's say this is I want to change the horizontal. Horizontal. It is time, and add my unit, minutes. And so for the y-axis, yeah, go here. You go to the vertical or the y. Delete whatever in there. We're putting the rate, the title with the units. You can freely move. Okay, move all these. All right, so that's my graph. What else I want to put in there? Okay, this graph, it looks a pretty good relationship between the rate and the time. As the time increases, the reaction rate increases. So we can see there's a positive correlation between the reaction rate and time. And so we want to know if there's an equation, mathematical equation, can describe the correlation between the rate and time. So that we need to insert a trend line. We call it insert trend line. So to do that, you just click on this and right click. That was the old way, by the way. I've been doing the old way with new ways. Okay, let me try the right click. Right click. You can see the right click, I have several options. You can delete all these, but apparently I want to just add a trend line. So we go to add a trend line. And after that, that's automatic by default. I did not ask you, because the trend line, we have several options. We have quite a few options on the right hand. And we have exponential trend line, linear, logarithm, polynomial, power, so forth. They automatically pick the linear because it does look like a positive correlation. And the increase, as time increased by the certain amount, the reaction rate increase is very much maintain the same pace. So it is a linear. So this is a linear equation with a linear line for the concentration of the reaction rate and time. But for our class, we really need to find out the slope and sometimes intercept, and especially slope. Slope is very important. To find a slope, you go to the under same format trend line, and you can see there's a trend name, automatic, custom. So these are, let me move out a little bit more, I can see better. This part didn't change. Okay, so with this graph, you kind of move downward, and you can choose set intercept. Sometimes you want the best fitting line. Okay, this is best fitting line. To you force the line goes through 0. You can do that. You can do the here. You can set intercept to make it 0. Okay, there's something wrong with my mouse or with my computer. Not sure why, but yeah. You can force the line go through the origin, 0 and 0. But normally we don't do that. Unclick. And as you can see, as you click, unclick, set 0, they force the origin or not, the line actually change the angle. Of course, it will change the angle. But really what we need, what we care about, it is we need to see the equation for this line, the mathematical linear equation for the line. And also, let's see that first. Okay, I click on that, it shows me the mathematical equation, So this equation shows us the slope is 0.147, and the y-intercept is 0.069. And that's automatically the software can do it for you. Okay. If we have all different kind of graphs and we want to find out which graph give me the most linear, sometimes data, the experiment data came out, it looks like shotgun all over the place, numbers all over the place, wild, because very poor quality. So how would you compare the data that is good or bad? We can use the display the R² value on chart. And this value R², it shows you the quality of a linear best fitting line among those 4 data points. And the R², the closer to be 1, the better. Or in other words, the more nines, or the more nines in the 0.9 whatever, the better. The closer to 1, the better quality for the graphs. So that's pretty much the, I can kind of play with this. Okay, let's go back to the, okay, so this is our graph. I cannot see my, okay, this is my graph. I kind of show you how that will looks like if you change the number. Let's say this number become, by move this last number even bigger, as you can see, for now, this last data point for 4 minutes, this Y value is already kind of above, off the line. It's already kind of off. Now I make the number even bigger. And let's watch what will change with the, and I can see the number changes. The equation change, of course, the best fitting equation will change. And also the R square. The R square was 0.97-ish. Now becomes less than 0.94. And this is because the last data point after my modification, it become more off, more above this best fitting line. So that really affects the whole data quality. And so remember what number you see, and now I undo. Okay, so undo this one. So this is what before I changed. Fairly well. The R square not the best, but it's okay for the linear regression. We call it linear regression. So this is how you use Excel to find out the best fitting line. And you can find the slope, intercept, and especially the slope. The slope in kinetics research, we can find the rate constant by graphing the reaction rate versus time, or natural log of the reaction rate versus time. It depends on what order for the reaction is. So you can see if I change the number even further, make the, yeah, I change to make it lower. You can see the last point was very high. Now I make it even lower, and you can see the R square have a dramatic improvement. This is getting very close to 1. It basically means at this point, R squares have 3 nines, almost 4 nines. That means that all 4 data points align perfectly in a straight line. So that's how the Excel can help you find a slope and intercept. So in our class, where do we use the slope and intercept? So for example, we can find the order of the reaction by graphing the natural log of the rate versus the natural log of time. We can find the order. We can also find activation energy. Very soon you might do that in your assignment. And in the later, we can use this graph to find some other information. But this is basically how we use Excel. So with graph, you can see the, okay, right now we're in the home, under home button. To really edit the graph, we need to go to the insert. Insert, you have this. Yeah, so these are the options we have to work with data. Okay. And so for the graph, the Excel have very nice functions, newer Excel. I'm pretty sure everyone else is using new Excel. With new Excel, if we have a whole bunch of data, and we want to see, there's so many numbers here. Can I find, is there an easy way to highlight which number is the largest or smallest? The answer is yes. We call it conditional formatting. This is very useful. So let's say I want to format we want to find out among the 4 data points in the B column, which one is highest. You go to conditional formatting, and you go to the color scale. The color scale basically shows you we have different options. We have this. This explains to you what it means. The first one, it shows you green, yellow, red scale. And we actually have different kinds. This one is should be the lowest in red, the largest number in green. Okay, so this is our first one. Or you can like change the other way around. You can make it lowest as green and highest in red. And it depends on what do you. This is probably the coolest. You got a blue and the red. So let's say I pick this one. The largest being the green. And let's say I type in some other numbers. Okay. I change this number to 0.1. Let's see how that will change. You can see the 0.1 is lowest and now become the most red. And let's say I change this one to make that increase. And you can see the increase, the highest number become the most green, and the others yellow or the lowest, with lowest being red. So the Microsoft conditional formatting is very useful. I did not learn about this trick maybe about 3 years ago, 4 years ago. It's fairly recent function for the Microsoft Excel. And okay.
Professor Wen.
Yes.
Sorry, I interrupt you. I tried to look for the option for the chart. Where did you do it before so fast? I don't. How can I do the chart like this? Where is the option? I don't see it.
You go to the once you have the data, you go to the insert.
Oh, insert.
Yes. Oh, you insert a graph.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. See, I already have a graph, and I can make another one. I can make a duplicate graph. So let's make a different graph. Insert, and let's try a different graph. Let's try. Actually, right now I'm not making a different graph. Actually, it's still the same. Let me try again to highlight these two and insert, and I should be able to get a new graph. But yes, so you can see I highlight the same frame. I can have try different ways. If you want to experiment on which kind of graph will works out the best for you, you can just try the highlight and insert. And so once in here, you get a graph. If you try to look for how to add the titles, and that's you go to the add chart element. And these are the places you can add. You can add the axis title, chart title, data label. I never use this myself. It'd be very cool, but my graph, if I use data label, it'd be too messy, too much information. But let's try. We just play with those. Yeah, too much. Too much. This is can be helpful. This can be helpful. So normally we don't graph like this, but this can be helpful. You have both lines and the value for each one. The y for each one.
Professor, where did you find to do those colors under column B?
Yeah, so that's you go to the you highlight a column and go to conditional formatting. Okay,
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. This is very helpful. We don't use it for our data, by the way. Our data, we don't use this kind of but for your future work, it's very helpful. For, you have all the data in the table, it looks very messy. Just number in the table is the worst way to present data. You always want to make it turn into some kind of graph. A graph, you view the results much easier. But this is the, if we have X and Y, multiple columns, it's difficult even to graph. It's very messy to graph all of them in one. You just simply use the conditional formatting. Use conditional. Okay, so once you get the conditional formatting, you go down. These are I use the color scale the most. You can use from green to red or blue to red. So these are different options. Yeah, this maybe looks more normal. Okay, this is the color that is based on the darkness of in one particular color. This may be the most easiest to to see also, because if you use the red to green, if you don't know what does green red mean, they have to kind of figure out based on the number and how the color match with that. But with this one, maybe it's easiest to see. And you have this one, it's green color for the different. That's very, very helpful. Okay, so I think that's pretty much, oh, the equation. This is actually even more useful. This one everyone should know. Because Excel is not just putting graph, and with Excel, you can do multiple calculations with the same formula very, very quickly. So let's say in the C cell, I want to do a calculation based on the value in A column and B column. So I can just write down here, highlight the C cell and type in equals. So this is the moment you can type in a formula. Okay, type in formula. So let's say, before I do that, let me, okay, so let's say I want to write down the equation. C equals 2 times x, 2 times a, plus logarithm natural log of b. Okay, let's say this is my equation. And so that means for each row, the cell C value equals this number times 2 plus natural log of the this number b. Okay, so that's let's say I want to do the calculations. It's very powerful with Excel. So you highlight this, type in equal. Well, you probably notice this here. This also shows the equal. You can actually type a formula here. Okay, typing here, yeah, you can just click one more time, and you see the blinking. That means you are ready to input. So based on the formula that I have here, and I type in what looks like 2 times the that cell's A1 cell. So A parentheses 1. A parentheses 1 means it means this cell. So this is kind of sort of like programming. It's a little tiny program, a very simple program in Excel. You can do fairly complicated calculations with Excel. Okay, so that's the first one. And I do the plus natural log of the B1. Oh, actually, wait a minute. I keep talking. I might not add the parentheses. I don't think I need parentheses, actually. Wait a minute. I have not been using this function for a while lately, so okay, let's say this. I think this should be good. Let's just hit enter. Okay, this is the formula. A1 means the column A, first row, A1. And B1 is column B, first row. So this is the formula I put in. And to get the calculation results, just hit enter. All right, so that's basically my first calculation. So the A1 means this. A1 means this cell. B1 means this. Okay. So this you can see one calculation. If you change these two numbers, change the number. My number changes, of course. That's mathematical equation. All right, so I can do all the calculations. Okay, let's say I want to do the same calculation between A2 and B2 and A3 and B3. It's very easy. Highlight, click on the cell, get to corner. You can see the your mouse turn into a black cross, tiny black cross. Click on that, drag all the way down. Oh, actually, I'm not supposed to drag all the way because the A5 have no value in it. But anyway, let's do that. Okay. So actually, you can see the same equation. I can easily do calculations with all the others. So looks like for even though I did not put in number, this little software, this little computer treat that as 0. And yeah, then you still have a number, even though the A5, A6, and so forth, no number. The computer treats 0, and only do the calculation natural log of the B5 and all the way to B9. Okay. Any questions? Anyone? Can you guys use your laptop to do this operation? Anyone has trouble? You can share your screen if you have trouble doing this. Everyone's okay with Excel graphing? Someone asked me about how to do the options. Are you guys okay?